Welcome! It is another year and we start another festival. Welcome to Inside Festival. We are in Linz in the Ars Electronica Center. Behind us you see the beautiful Danube, and we will broadcast live starting from now on about this year's festival program. Every week and in August, twice a week, you will get a sneak peek, an insight into our exciting program, coming from the many gardens around the world, but as well into the exhibitions, programs hosted here in Linz by us as well as many of our partners. With me is dear Gerfried, the artistic director of Ars Electronica, and I'm excited to be sharing this 20 minutes with you here on site. Unfortunately, we have to report our two wonderful colleagues, Martin Honzik and Veronika Liebl, cannot make it today. The festival program is too demanding, so we just have to split tasks, unfortunately. Actually now, as we've started the session, I would love you to give a bit of insight into the theme of the festival as it has, of course, developed and refined itself in the last weeks.
Well, that's always the exciting thing with the festival preparations. You start out with a topic, you discuss it with your colleagues, and finally you decide about it, and then the whole preparation starts, and of course within a very short time it completely transforms and it really gets alive. And I think this is the exciting time that we are facing right now. And there are a few remarks that I would like to make at this opportunity about the topic, a new digital deal. I think the first one at all is that, of course, when we talk about deal, we don't consider it just as a deal in a commercial, in a business sense. Of course, we are addressing this understanding of the deal, because when we look at our digital technology, our digital environments, it mainly, at least that's how it seems and how it appears, has become a completely commercial endeavor. The commercial interests are on top of everything that is going on with the digital transformation, with the digital development, and I think this is the point where again a festival like Ars Electronica, where artists, where people from the creative realm, where people who have a little bit more appreciation of the future, where those people are really called into action to really bring up alternatives, to talk about alternatives. So when we talk about the new digital deal, it also really means how to deal with the digital environment, with the digital age, with all the opportunities, with all the problems that are rising. And of course this is an endless list, because the more digital environments, digital technology are becoming part of our life, the more we see, of course, so many problems that are arising with it. Problems that are mainly, I think, due to the lack of cultural, social thinking and awareness in the way how this digital technology has been introduced in our life. And in the same way as we see right now how super catastrophic the introduction of cars, for example, had been to the urban environments, how a technology that was introduced 100 years ago really destroyed our city. I think we have to be very careful and aware that the introduction of digital technology doesn't harm our living environment in the same way as we did with former technologies. That's, of course, the big responsibility. And dealing with this situation means the two things. It's about possibilities for engagement and activities, but also capabilities. We need to improve our capabilities to deal with the situation, and of course we need to ask decision makers, we need to ask the politics, we need to ask the big guys in business and big tech also to allow us these possibilities. And I think one of the very big issues is, of course, to discuss who owns the digital space. We are definitely in a kind of age of new digital feudalism. I mean, when we think about how much of our daily life is actually totally not only intertwined but depending on digital infrastructure, of course we consider it somehow as like a public infrastructure, but it's completely different to every type of infrastructure that we have known in the history. It's completely owned by private people, and we have seen too often by now that they have no reason and probably also no intention to really deal with this power in a way that is really for the common goods. Just think about when the richest man in the world, Jeff Bezos from Amazon, when his employers want to join the union or create a union, how suddenly he gets super agitated, and then the big company and the big guy, they are really doing incredible things just to avoid that their workers are getting unified. And I think this is a very simple but a very drastic example that we need to change the way how we deal, not only as individuals but as a society, with the digital world. I think equally important, of course, is the topic of the digital world and the ecology. We need to address not only the wonderful possibilities that we might get from new technology to help us in solving the problems of climate change, but we need to seriously also think about the footprint of the ecological footprint about the digital technologies. The amount of energy that is consumed and that is growing day by day with these infrastructures is just incredible. And well, we are talking so often about creative new ideas of new innovations and new ways of thinking. This is one of the areas where we have to address or where we have to really put our focus to come to new solutions. And the third part that will be very important, and again, it's something that Ars Electronica is anyway doing since its very first inception 42 years ago, is of course education. Education, media literacy, and again, these two things, to be able to deal with these technologies, but also, of course, to get the opportunities to work with it. And so we are introducing this year, besides the many exciting projects that are coming from the artists all over the world, besides a lot of interesting workshops, conferences, we are also introducing the Festival University. This is a completely new format that we are starting this year, a hybrid format also, in collaboration with our big and important partner, the Johannes Kepler University, the big university here in Linz. And a very interesting thing here is we are inviting 100 students, young people from all over the world, put them together with a lot of mentors, experts, professionals from all these different areas, and we try to explore alternative ways, alternative thinking, how to transform the world, how to save the world. And we are doing this with very interesting art projects, and one of them is this fantastical project, the Museum of Edible Earth, and maybe Christl, you can tell us about this project.
Yes, exactly. It's a project by the artist Masharu. She's Russian but lives in the Netherlands, and she actually received an award of distinction in this year's Prix Ars Electronica. And her project collects actually examples of edible earth from around the world, brings it into a physical exhibition, a physical collection, where as a visitor you can come and taste those pieces of earth. And I mean, I don't need to tell you about all the cultural implication that comes along with tasting earth, tasting soil. I mean, many of us have been raised in this, idea that it's good for your immune system, so go outside, play in the woods. But on the other side, other people tell you, come on, please don't, a lot of bacteria, it might be dangerous, it might harm you. So what this project inspired us to is a project that we call Taste Your Soil. And actually this is one of our so-called community love projects that we want to introduce you, and that involves every one of our partners around the world. What we will do is we will ask everyone around the world to make an image, a short video where they take a piece of soil from their garden, from their backyard, from the woods where they might live close by, show us the piece where it comes from, and taste this piece. Tell us how it tastes, what implication it has, where it comes from. Is there maybe a chemical factory next to, the part where you really, really don't want to try this piece of soil? Or do you have a specific piece of chalk that has actually a quite long history where it actually might be used already in certain dishes or in certain as an ingredient in cooking traditional recipes? I mean, this opens up so many questions. Soil is so essential for all of us. We daily walk on it. We grow our food in it. influence whatever we put in our body with it. And on the other side, we can talk about, shipping routes, trading routes. Where do we need to grow our food? It opens up a whole perspective, and especially it is wherever you live, it has a different implication. Now, with no further ado, I actually don't want to. I would like to show you the project that is called Edible Earth and give you an insight of what the artist meant with it.
Masharu's work takes a whole new stance on the subject of soil. While we gather soils for scientific purposes, looking closely at the soil's composition, there are totally different ways to engage with the substance. Masharu, for instance, collects soils and investigates how edible they are. This approach is inspirational, tantalizing, as it presents a different perception on soil. The cultural aspects of soil are fascinating, although little is known about them.
In Nederland, Nederlandse voedselautoriteit, zij vinden het geen goed idee om pimba te eten. En winkels die verkopen pimba, die krijgen boetes.
Oh ja?
Meen je dat?
In Nederland, ja.
In Nederland?
Maar dat wist ik niet.
Nee.
Nee. Is dat nieuw? Maar ze blijven verkopen nog.
Blijven verkopen.
Bij de culturele winkels. Ja.
The collection of the Moving Museum of Edible Earth already has nearly 400 edible earth samples, currently eaten by various populations around the world, mostly clays, such as for instance kaolin and bentonite, as well as chalks, limestone, volcanic rocks, diatomaceous earth and topsoil. The materials originate from all over the world, Eurasia, Africa, and the Americas. A number of materials were purchased from abroad online, received as presents or as a result of an earth exchange. The physical archive of the Museum of Edible Earth has been designed by the German designer Boss Stittgen. The installation consists of a simple metal frame with ecoboard shelves, with the particularity of being totally modular. The whole system can be dispatched in smaller parts according to the needs of our exhibitions. A large part of the development of the project resides in field trips to countries where geophagy is practiced. So far, masharu has traveled to Indonesia, Suriname, Guatemala, Cuba, Ghana, Nigeria, Zimbabwe, Russia, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, and Uzbekistan. During each trip are developed partnerships and exhibitions working as milestones of the research work.
De wetenschap zegt men dat de papegaai eten de klei om de gifgehalte van wat ze eten van de bladeren om te balanceren.
Ja.
Through collecting stories, witnessing production processes or related spiritual practices, gathering local samples and conducting interviews, we enrich the physical, intellectual and spiritual collection of the Museum of Edible Earth.
Maar wat is beter? Russische pimba of Surinaamse pimba?
Ik ben maar Rus, dan ga je niet zeggen. Hier ben je nu in Mungo. Die Mungo pimba is beter dan die Russische pimba. Ja, net wat Rusland zegt, dan ga je zeggen nee, die Russische pimba is ook lekker.
Well, what a great project, and I think it's totally clear that this project really deserves one of the big prizes of our Ars Electronica this year. And probably, as you have surely guessed by now, the Festival 21 will be again a festival that is taking place in this exciting hybrid space between checking out what will be possible in September here in Linz for real audiences, but of course working again with our wonderful, huge global network with hundreds of partners all over the world. And all of these partners who are doing a festival garden will be asked also to send us examples of the soil that they discovered or that they had chosen on their premises, to send it to Linz and enrich this museum, this wonderful collection of edible earth, and therefore also contributing to this project. Another important thing for this year will be an anniversary. 25 years ago, not only the Ars Electronica Center opened its doors, but also our Ars Electronica Future Lab started its activities. The first big thing was actually to create the new exhibits for the Ars Electronica Center, and immediately after this it became a hotspot for many artists from all over the world, but also for scientists and also for partners from the industry to really investigate, research and prototype technology, application and scenarios for the future. And what could be better to celebrate 25 years history of looking into the future by looking again into the future that is ahead of us, and doing this with a very special group of experts of the Future Lab. The children of those people who are the researchers, those people who founded, started and have developed the Future Lab over 25 years, they will present their perspective for the future. What are they thinking the future will look like? What they are asking us to take care of so that their future might be an exciting area, an exciting time as it was for us 20, 30, 40 years even ago when the whole Ars Electronica thing started. And I think that's really a super nice thing that is besides many other activities that the Future Lab is doing, inviting colleagues who have been working there since 25 years, exhibiting projects and publishing a wonderful book. So please have a look at all these things. I think this very project with the kids experts is super nice, and we have another video that is introducing this project.
Hello, I am Denise.
Hello, I'm Barbara. Denise and I are the main organizers of the Kids Workshop, the Experts of the Future. The Ars Electronica Future Lab celebrates its 25th anniversary, and this is one of the activities.
The idea of the Experts of the Future workshop is to take our kids to a journey to the future. And this journey shall be easy, replicable in a 3-steps recipe. We as adults often shape the mindsets and goals for our next generation without integrating them directly and taking their imagination of the future seriously. The future sometimes seems like it's a planet that is located far away from the present world. But how does this planet look like? And how diverse can it be created from children from all over the world?
Our goal is to innovate together with our kids a recipe in 3 steps to imagine a future journey that can be shared with you, our partner gardens. We hope that our workshop inspires you as well to send us your unique versions and statements of the experts' opinions. Let's build together a catalog with various statements where the next generation inspires us adults.
So let us introduce you to our 3-steps recipe. The first step to travel to the planet future is to craft a paper rocket. We simply want to ask the experts how mobility in the future will look like and what are the special requirements to go on a journey to their planet. To craft the rocket at home, you simply have to print our layout and follow the steps in the guide.
The second step. The children blow away the rocket to their future planet. This is a circle on a long sheet of paper where they can design their own planet, the future. While they are drawing, we ask them several questions. For example, how does the landscape on your planet look like? How do you move on your planet? Is it hot or cold there? What is the climate like? How do the houses look like? How are we living there? What language do we speak there? How does the school look like? And what can we play there?
The final step is that the kids share their very personal message about the future with us, the Ars Electronica Future Lab. Therefore, we ask you to send us a 30-second statement that answers the following questions. How does the planet Earth look like in future? What are your wishes for the inhabitants of the planet Earth in future? And alternatively, if you travel there, what would you like to do? We are very excited to receive experts' opinions from the whole world that share with us their message what will happen in the next 25 years of the future.
This wonderful project does obviously not just address the expert of the future in Linz, but around the world. So here again, we ask all of our partners to ask exactly this question. How do they want their planet to look like to their own kids, to their own community, and giving us voices from around the world, telling us what we need to take care of. So those are our Festival Love project, and you will hear more about the others next week. But before we close the session, I want to give an insight into our own festival production. So in fact, we are already moved our whole team to the Johannes Kepler University campus. Behind me you see actually a brief map of it. There's a beautiful lake, there are the gardens there, and there are some images of the festival from last year. This is absolutely wonderful because our team grew already, and is not just us anymore, but it's many more people that help us to implement all those different programs of the festival. And now, with no further ado, thank you so much for watching. Please make sure to subscribe our channel, and we hope to welcome you again next week when we tell you about the love projects coming from our partners around the world. Thank you very much, and bye-bye.